Part 29.1 Surah Al-Ankabut, the Spider Assalamu Alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. Today, with profound spiritual anticipation and intellectual rigor, we embark upon a sustained, in-depth exploration of the 29th chapter of the Quran. Surah Al-Ankabut, famously and symbolically titled The Spider. This Meccan surah, a collection of 69 majestic verses ayat, descends upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the nascent Muslim community during one of the most agonizing and spiritually defining periods in Makkah era, marked by relentless persecution, intense trials, and the sheer physical reality of suffering for the sake of belief. It is, therefore, a surah whose every word is dedicated to the ultimate, uncompromising themes of testing fitnah, unwavering perseverance jihad, and the fundamental, existential fragility of all reliance on anything other than Allah. The surah's very title, derived from the poignant, startling allegory found in verse 41, serves as a masterfully crafted literary and theological signpost. It immediately challenges the human heart to reconsider the stability and trustworthiness of all worldly anchors' power, wealth, tribal loyalty, and especially idolatry, by comparing their inherent weakness to the flimsiest of all homes, the house of the spider. This is not just a story. It is a spiritual diagnostic, dissecting the diseases of hypocrisy and the catastrophic self-deception that comes from seeking protection in ephemeral systems rather than in Allah Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, the only permanent reality. Through a sequence of penetrating arguments, vivid prophetic histories, and crystalline warnings, Surah Al-Ankabut meticulously prepares the believer for the inevitable crucible of faith, guaranteeing that sincerity is not merely proclaimed, but must be proven through endurance. We begin our concentrated contemplation with the foundational, illuminating verses that set the spiritual parameters for the entire chapter. The Divine Challenge. Faith is a crucible, Kenzal Aman. Quran, Surah Al-Ankabut, the Spider, chapter 29, verse 1. Aleph, Lam, Mim. The surah opens with these potent, mysterious single letters, Aleph, Lam. Within the deep currents of Islamic scholarship and the rich tradition of Sufi introspection, these the disconnected letters, serve a function far more profound than mere recitation. They stand as a silent, powerful miracle known as Ijaz al-Quran. They are the building blocks of the Arabic language, simple in form, yet unfathomably deep in implication. Their presence at the beginning of 29 surahs is a magnificent rhetorical challenge. Allah essentially declares, "This divine book, whose power you cannot replicate, is composed of the very same letters you use every day." It demonstrates that the unique arrangement, the sublime flow, the comprehensive wisdom, and the ethical perfection of the Quran transcend all human capability. They are an immediate, non-negotiable affirmation of the text's divine authorship, conditioning the listener's heart and mind to receive the profound, weighty truths concerning trial and perseverance that follow immediately. They are the initial, majestic trumpet call of unique and perfect revelation. Kenzal Aman Quran, Surah Al-Ankabut, the Spider, chapter 29, verse 2. Do people think that they will be left to say, "We believe," and they will not be tried? This verse strikes at the very core of human assumption regarding spirituality, dismantling any illusion of a transactional or easy faith. It is a profound rhetorical question, demanding immediate, soul-searching introspection from every individual who utters the declaration of faith, Memunun, we believe. The entire verse is a denial of the common human desire for comfort and stability in the face of spiritual commitment. The surah establishes, in its second verse, that the profession of belief is merely the entrance fee to the rigorous path of Iman. This faith must, by divine law and necessity, be subjected to trial, yuftan. The word trial comes from the root fitnah, which holds rich, essential meaning in Sufi thought. Fitnah originally referred to the process of melting gold or silver to purify it of all dross and alloy. Applied to the spiritual realm, it signifies the deliberate, necessary pressure of hardship, temptation, and persecution used by Allah to test, refine, and purify the believer's sincerity. This was an acutely relevant message for the Makkans, who endured intense social and economic pressure. The verse prepares the believer for the harsh reality. The claim of faith must be authenticated by the reality of sacrifice and suffering. Without the fire of Fitnah, the gold of Eman remains untested and suspect. The verse is, therefore, a foundational theological statement. True faith is not passive consent. It is active endurance. Kādhibīn, Quran, Surah Al-Ankabut, the spider, chapter 29, verse 3. But we have certainly tried those before them. Allah will surely make evident those who are truthful, and He will surely make evident the liars. This verse provides the cosmic and historical justification for the divine testing proclaimed in the preceding verse, offering profound reassurance in context to the struggling believers. But we have certainly tried those before them. This powerful statement elevates the struggle of the current community from an isolated incident to a universal, eternal pattern of divine governance soon at all. The trials faced by the followers of Prophet Noah, Prophet Abraham, Prophet Lot, Prophet Moses, peace be upon them all, whose stories are recounted elsewhere in the Quran, serve as precedents. Every nation that carried the banner of Tawhid, pure monotheism, has faced its unique opposition, its unique form of fitnah. This remembrance offers comfort, stability, and historical perspective. The verse then pivots to declare the ultimate. It's a profound purpose of all this testing. And Allah will surely make evident those who are truthful. He will surely make evident the liars. The intense repetition of surely make evident. Lamina is not a statement that Allah is unaware. He is all-knowing, but rather that the truth will be made manifest and visible to the creation, and most importantly, to the soul itself. Trials are the definitive, non-negotiable criterion that distinguishes between the truthful tzaddik, those whose external declaration of faith aligns perfectly with the sincere, unwavering conviction in their hearts, kalb, and the liars, kādhibīn, the hypocrites, the fair-weather adherents, and those whose commitment is superficial, dissolving under the heat of adversity. The trial is the divine mechanism for separating the wheat from the chaff, ensuring that only authentic, resilient Eman progresses to the ultimate reward. The folly of escaping accountability, Kādhibīn, Quran, Surah Al-Ankabut, the spider, chapter 29, verse 4. Or do those who do evil deeds think that they can outrun us? Evil is what they judge. The focus of the discourse now shifts abruptly and powerfully from the purification of the believer to a stern, authoritative warning directed at the transgressors, disbelievers, and active oppressors. Or do those who do evil deeds think that they can outrun us? This is another piercing rhetorical question that challenges the colossal arrogance and fundamental miscalculation of the wicked. Evil deeds, ṣādiqīn, here encompass all acts of shirk polytheism, blatant injustice, tyranny, and persecution that characterize the Maccan's opposition to the nascent Muslim community. The notion that they could outrun us abspited implies a desperate, misguided attempt to escape the absolute reach of divine decree and justice. They plot in secret. They operate under the cover of night. They use their worldly power to shield themselves, imagining they can somehow evade the all-encompassing power of Allah. This delusion is the spiritual blindness of the pharaohs and the Koruns of every age. The verse concludes with a crushing, absolute verdict on their entire worldview. Evil is what they judge. Their judgment, their assessment of their own autonomy, their perceived control over circumstances, their belief in their impunity, are declared fundamentally and absolutely evil. Maya Kamon. It is a flawed, corrupt, and ultimately self-destructive calculus. The universe operates under Allah's precise, inescapable command, and no worldly power can negotiate or delay the inevitable hour of reckoning. The certainty of the appointment with Allah. Kādhibīn, Quran, Surah Al-Ankabut, the spider, chapter 29, verse 5. Whoever hopes for the meeting with Allah, indeed, the term appointed by Allah is coming, and He is the hearing, the knowing. After the sharp warning to the transgressors, this verse returns to the believer, offering a source of deep solace, motivation, and ultimate perspective, the very spiritual anchor necessary to endure the fitnah mentioned earlier. Whoever hopes for the meeting with Allah, double quotes this hope for the meeting lick. All is the highest spiritual station, the ultimate driving force of the entire Sufi path. It is not merely a belief in the hereafter. It is an intense, active longing for the moment of personal, full accountability, and for the righteous, the eternal proximity to the Lord. It signifies that the believer's gaze is fixed on the horizon of eternity, rendering the trials of the temporary world secondary. The verse assures the believer of the non-negotiable certainty of this event. Indeed. The term appointed by Allah is coming. The term appointed ajal is the fixed. Precise time for the day of judgment, al-qiyamah, the resurrection, and the final reckoning. The use of the emphatic particle inna underscores that this date is an absolute, non-retractable commitment by the Almighty. This certainty is the greatest antidote to despair and the surest guarantor of patience during persecution. The verse concludes with the attributes that guarantee this perfect outcome, and He is the hearing, the knowing. These two names, Al-Samp, the Al-Hearing, and Al-Sam, the Al-Knowing, are strategically placed here to provide comprehensive comfort. Al-Samp ensures that every tear shed in secret, every whisper of supplication, every plea against oppression, and every word of defiance from the persecutors is meticulously registered. Al-Ghanī guarantees that every hidden intention, every degree of sincerity, every unspoken act of forbearance, and the precise degree of every evil deed is perfectly catalogued. This divine omniscience and omnipresence mean that nothing is ever lost, forgotten, or misjudged, giving the truthful tzaddik absolute confidence in the fairness of the final verdict. The self-centric nature of effort and the divine independence Kanzel Aman, Quran, Surah Al-Ankabut, the spider. Chapter 29, verse 6. And whoever strives, he only strives for the benefit of himself. Indeed, Allah is free from need of the worlds. This verse addresses the believer's necessary effort and struggle in the path of faith, clarifying its ultimate recipient. And whoever strives, he only strives for the benefit of himself. The term strives jihada is the verb form of jihad, signifying all forms of profound, sustained effort, the great jihad al-akbar struggle against the lower self, the jihad in seeking and teaching ilm, the jihad of sincere worship, and the jihad of bearing witness to the truth against overwhelming odds. The surah asserts the fundamental truth that all this rigorous effort is entirely self-beneficial, purifies the soul, refines character, builds spiritual resilience, taqwa, and earns the eternal reward. It is an investment in the hereafter. This spiritual law is grounded in the absolute nature of the Creator. Indeed, Allah is free from need of the worlds. Allah is Al-Ghanī, the self-sufficient, and Al-Am, the praiseworthy. Majesty, power, and perfection are intrinsic and eternal, utterly unaffected by the actions of His creation. If all creation were to worship Him with perfect sincerity, it would not increase His dominion by an atom. Conversely, if all creation were to disbelieve, it would not diminish His sovereignty in the slightest. This doctrine of divine independence serves to purify the intention nija of the believer, ensuring that effort is never mistaken for a means of helping Allah, but is purely an act of grateful, sincere servitude, ubdiya, and an essential means for the individual's salvation and spiritual elevation. The ultimate promise of expiation and amplified reward, Kanzel Aman. Quran, Surah Al-Ankabut, the spider. Chapter 29, verse 7. And those who believe and do righteous deeds, we will surely remove from them their misdeeds, and will surely reward them the best of what they used to do. This final verse in the opening section provides the glorious, ultimate conclusion to the process of testing and striving. It is the divine contract of success for the faithful. The contract requires two inseparable conditions. Those who believe and do righteous deeds. Belief, emin, is the unseen conviction, the spiritual root. Oh, righteous deeds. Amalar, glee, t, are the seen fruit, the necessary external manifestation of that inner truth. The two are mutually dependent and define the life of taqwa. For those who meet this high standard, Allah Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim grants an overflowing reward delivered through to magnificent actions. Divine expiation, we will surely remove from them their misdeeds. This is the profound act of divine forgiveness and expiation, kafarn, washing away and blotting out the sins, errors, and unintentional shortcomings that every soul inevitably incurs. This act of purification is a testament to Allah's boundless mercy, making the soul light and ready for the eternal reward, ensuring that minor failings do not nullify major efforts. Amplified recompense, ... and will surely reward them the best of what they used to do, as established by the rule of divine justice and generosity. The reward is not merely equal to the good deed, but is amplified, multiplied, and calculated based on the best of their deeds and intentions. This ensures that a single, sincere, foundational act of kindness or devotion is leveraged to an immense, eternal degree. This promise reinforces the ultimate wisdom of choosing perseverance over ease and truth over comfort. It is the final, compelling motivation for enduring the entire process of fitnah. Hadith, the opening verses of Surah Al-Ankabut, particularly chapter 29, verses 2 and 3, establish that the pathway of faith is intrinsically linked to testing fitnah. This is not random affliction, but a calculated, deliberate process that distinguishes the genuine believer from the superficial one. Ultimately serving as a sign of Allah's attention and love for the sincere community, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, articulated this profound spiritual law with remarkable clarity, providing context and comfort to those enduring the hardships of the early mission. When Allah desires good for a servant, He hastens the punishment for him in this world. And when Allah desires evil for a servant, He withholds the punishment for him until He fulfills it for him on the day of resurrection. Tirmidhi 2396, graded Hasan Sahih, and another version from Anas ibn Malik. This hadith beautifully and powerfully aligns with the themes of Surah Al-Ankabut. The hastening of the punishment in this world does not necessarily mean specific retribution for a sin, but rather the trials and difficulties fitness that afflict the sincere believer. These worldly tribulations, though painful, serve as an expiation kafara for sins as promised in chapter 29, verse 7, purifying the soul before the day of judgment, and thus paradoxically acting as a profound sign of Allah's desire for good for that servant. Conversely, the withholding of worldly tests from the disbeliever or hypocrite allows their sins to accumulate fully, leading to the complete fulfillment of their punishment on the day of resurrection. Thus, the intense suffering of the early Makkans, which the surah addresses, is revealed to be the very sign of Allah's love and their ultimate purification, the divine separation of the didik from the kādhibīn. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. O Allah, Most High, Most Exalted, we bear witness to the profound truth of your book, which begins with the majestic and mysterious Aleph, Lam, Mim. We humbly pray that we are not among those who are complacent in our faith, who merely say, we believe, but then shrink and falter when faced with the inevitable trials and the cleansing fire of your fitnah. Strengthen our resolve to be patient, steadfast, and enduring. We beseech you to make us among those who are truthful dissects in the depth of our conviction, and to protect us, O Allah, from the profound spiritual shame of being exposed as liars kādhibīn when our commitment is tested by the realities of life and death. Guard us from the immense arrogance and spiritual blindness of those who do evil deeds, who mistakenly believe they can somehow outrun your absolute comprehensive sovereignty and rescue us from their flawed and evil judgment. Fill our spiritual hearts with the intense, unwavering hope for the meeting with Allah, granting us the certainty that your appointed term is coming without fail. For you are the hearing, the knowing, attentive to our every effort, and aware of our every sincere intention. We seek your assistance to dedicate ourselves fully to strive jihad sincerely for the singular benefit of our own souls, remembering that you are entirely free from need of the worlds and that our worship adds nothing to your magnificent perfection. And for us who believe and do righteous deeds, fulfill your generous promise, O Allah, Ar Rahman and Ar Rahim, to surely remove from us our misdeeds and to surely reward us the very best of what we used to do, a boundless manifestation of your infinite grace. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ilm. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth. And may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Ameen.